To say the end of last year was disappointing would be an understatement. We had fought to be above mid-table most of the season. We had hung on to 6th place for what seemed to be a long, long time. Ultimately to lose it in the last 3 weeks of play. A lot of that was our own doing. We weren't winning games. We weren't losing games. We were drawing them. And as a result, we didn't move up in the table. And teams that were behind us moved past us. Finishing 7th place after being in 6th place so long was, well, like I said, a bummer. So the plan this offseason was to strengthen the senior squad, get some quality backups in a couple places, get the youth squads all sorted out, get all the good players out on loan for first team playing time, and to see if I couldn't get a handle on this 40 million pounds of debt. I think we were successful. This was one of the more trying transfer windows I remember. It may be better than last year's window, which I proclaim to be the best I've ever had, but then again, as always, I'm biased. My name's FM Jellicoe, and this is the Palace March, episode 20. I thought I had my phone turned off. That buzzing noise you heard at the end of the intro was my wife calling me, letting me know she was coming home. Had it set on vibrate, but shook my drink off the table. Figure out how strong that sucker was. Anyhow, this is our current financial status. 23 million pounds in the transfer budget, 1.6 million pounds in the wage budget. We're currently spending 1.5, so we got a little bit of leeway there. And that's after I kicked up the scouting budget. Overall, we're 9 million pounds in the red. That is going to get worse as the season goes on. I'm hoping competitions can help make up for that. That said, we're going to have to do better this year in the competitions than we did last year. And we needed to bring in a couple of players to help out with that. But we also had a few players leave that I wasn't expecting. More on that, well, actually now. Oh, by the way, this is the Yax skin, Y-A-C-S. It's been around in the last 3 or 4 football managers, if I remember correctly, but I don't remember using it last year. I really like it. It's nice. It's clean. It's got a really good color contrast. There are a couple minor issues with it, one of which is if you're scouting, currently at the moment, for whatever reason, like I've been scouting Thilo Kehrer for a while now. For whatever reason, I think it's just something behind the scenes in the skin. The star rating doesn't come up on the scouting report like it used to. That's just a minor inconvenience at the moment. The guy who makes this skin is really, really good about addressing fixes. So there's a couple other minor things that I'm sure will get fixed as we go down the line. But like here, if I go to the attributes, one of the things I like, they're in boxes with the white numbers. You can go in and set those up the way you want. I tend to be more visual like that. I really like it. Transfer window-wise, we were really active. Honestly, I didn't realize how active we were until the window ended. Don Oscar, Scott Dan, Connor Wickham, Charles Marie Marietti, and Tom Husson left on freeze. Well, Dan retired. The only other player of consequence was Connor Wickham, and I've never had any luck with Connor Wickham in any game I've played. I had a Palace save last year in FM19. I think I mentioned this before earlier in the season, and he'd injure a leg and then would be healthy for a week, and then he did injure another leg. He literally spent the better part of 2 years on whatever the English football equivalent of injured reserve is, and lost like a full star and a half in the process. Free transfers out. TQ Addy, who was a youth player, went to Ipswich Town. On the ins, these are all young players that I've scouted that all have at least potential, I think. Sam Robinson, 1.5 star current ability, 3.5 star potential ability. Defensive right back, pretty good physicals for right now. Average mentals, average technicals, but those will improve as he gets some playing time. Roland McDonald, 1-star current ability, 4-star potential ability. The defensive midfielder, already really good physically, mentally, not bad. Technically, not bad, but not good in a couple areas as well. Again, another project. Herbie Kane, I saw, if you saw H. Kane went to Crystal Palace and you would have thought it was Harry Kane, no. Defensive midfielder, midfield, 2-star current ability, 3-star potential ability, 21 years old. Brought him in as essentially a starter on the under-23s. He might get some first-team playing time and relief appearances. It depends on the injury situation and the rest situation. I'm hopefully going to try and avoid that this year on the midfield. Rita Benyaha. Okay, Rita Benyaha. Attacking midfielder on the right, going to retrain him as a striker. Okay, physicals. The physicals could use some help. He's got really good mentals, though. That's one of the big reasons I decided to sign him. 1-star current ability, 4-star potential ability. The technicals could use some help as well, but then again, he's 18 years old. He'll get a year on the youth team, a couple years on the U23s, maybe a couple loan spells. Henry Lawrence, defensive midfielder, who I am going to train as a midfielder. Again, okay physicals. I love the 17 pace with a 14 acceleration. That will be nice if that actually, improves, if they both go up. The mentals, they're average, and the technicals are average for this level of football, but they'll improve as he gets playing time. Again, 18 years old. Timo Sobowale. Again, another 18-year-old defensive left back this time. Nice physicals. The mentals are, they're not bad. I like the 16 decision-making is nice. The 8 determination is a little bit on the low side for me, but I can work with that. Get him in a mentoring group, and that'll go up. The technicals, they're a bit on the low side. But then again, 18 years old. 2-star current ability, 3.5-star potential ability. These are all players who I brought in to increase the strength of the youth teams. If they turn into first-team players, all the better. If not, I'm positive I can sell them on for at least some amount of money. Loan deals. Holy cow, was I busy on the loan market, and I did not realize it. Sanderberg went out to Young Boys. I was looking at who I had in my midfield, and the new registration rules are in effect. It's what I think is the soft Brexit option. A maximum of 25 players on the roster. U23s do not count towards that 25, but if they are a foreign player, they count towards your foreign player limit, which is 17. Sanderberger was kind of lost in the shuffle. 2.5-star current ability to 3.5-star potential ability. I could have sworn that was higher last year, and I'm blanking on it at the moment. I left my notebook that I keep all that information in at work. But I put him out there on loan, and Young Boys hopped all over him. They are paying like a third of his salary in addition to £200,000 a month for him, which I am absolutely fine with. Boris Popovic, Kyan Flanagan, and Jermaine Elliott Cornsbrough went to Luton Town. This, I think, is odd. I thought there was like a 2-player limit per affiliate, but I guess not. Florian Vietti, who is a keeper, went to Martigues. Martin Remakle went to Crewe. Robert Mazant went to Nantes. He went down in potential ability. He's not going to get any better. His determination didn't get any better with a year of being in the mentoring group and things like that. I tried moving him, and there were no takers, but I saw that Nantes wanted him on loan, so I put him on loan. Christian went to Nacional. Horvath went to Puskas Academia. Matsuhinu, who is a player I actually brought in this year, went back on loan to GOI. Matthias Ross went back to Aalborg. He's a guy I paid money for last year, and he just did not get better. And it just totally bites. I had him in a good mentor group and everything like that. His determination just did not go up. That's one thing I think a lot of players are having issues with, is that maybe we got too used to taking a youth player and sticking with a player who had 20 determination, and 3 months later his 5 determination would be a 12 or something like that. If it's a gradual improvement, then it's a gradual improvement, but no improvement over 9 months of football, that doesn't strike me as right. Mirko Bosanic went to HNK Rijeka, but I actually bought him. I loaned him back. You'll see that here in just a second. Selko Jark is at Bromley. Paul Glotzel went to Crawley. They actually asked for him. I said, sure, why not? Levi Lemeka went to Bristol Rovers. That's right. Herbie Kane, Burton came in asking for Herbie Kane, and they're paying about 50% of his salary? And I said, yeah, sure. One of the things that happened was I was looking at the roster and realized I was really, really thin at defensive left back. So I went and got Jake Vokins on loan from Southampton before Liverpool could. 2-star current ability, 4-star potential ability. Okay, physicals. I like the 16 acceleration, the 15 pace, the 15 stamina is very nice. The mentals, they're not bad, but they could be better. The 12 determination, the concentration, the decisions are okay. I'd like the aggression and the anticipation and bravery to be a little bit higher. The technicals, again, nothing horrible as he's a defensive left back. The marking and tackling are adequate. The technique is nice. He's here on a first-team contract. He is the primary backup at defensive left back. He'll get game time and starts throughout the season. So here's where the fun begins. On the outs, Romaciro went to AMG for £700,000. I bought him my first year here. He couldn't get a permit. Don't know why I can't think of that word. And then when the new system finally went in, he was lost in the shuffle because I have like 26 foreign players. I can only register 17. And there are a couple issues that are arising with that, let me tell you. Maximilian Meyer went to Spartak Moscow. And I didn't want him to go. It was odd. What happened was I got a note saying Maximilian Meyer is one of our better players. His contract is expiring. He deserves he deserves a new contract. Palace got Meyer in real life on a free, but they're paying him £150,000 a week. So I went in to renegotiate his contract, and for whatever reason, I could only cap his salary, or for whatever reason, his salary was capped at £170,000. No matter what adjustments I made to the budget, the board would not let me put it past £170,000. I tried everything, increasing his appearance fee, his goal bonus, his signing bonus. I gave his agent a huge, exorbitant amount of money, and he was adamant that he wanted £220,000. Now, at one point in time, he was at £170,000 plus £60,000 per appearance, and he was going to start most of the games. And if he wasn't going to start, he was going to be a sub. And in the end, he got frustrated because we couldn't sign the contract, and he walked away. And his attitude went down the crapper. I realized I'm actually pretty stacked at midfielder now, and I let him go for £15.75 million, going to £19.75 million. A lot of that is appearance-based. You know, he came in on a free. He's leaving on $15.75 million. Now, the only drawback to that is, because of the club's current financial status, I only get 35% of that. Marcos Jr. went to Bournemouth for £8 million. He was in the same boat as Romaciro. Aaron Wan-Bissaka. Newcastle came in and made an unsolicited offer for him. And I really like Wan-Bissaka. One of the things I like about Football Manager, running the club and stuff like that, is the ability to create a storyline or something like that. Or you find a player that you like and you take with you from club to club to club. Or you find a player in like a save like this, where it's a single club save, that you build the team around. I really wanted Wan-Bissaka to be that player. Newcastle came in and made this offer, and he was like, I really, really, really want to talk to Newcastle. And the agent said, my client really wants to talk to Newcastle and will be very upset if he's not allowed to. Which I think, on one hand, is really kind of a cool addition this year, but on the other hand, it lets you know that if you decline this particular offer, in this case, you're going to have a problem in the locker room. And right now, I can't afford a problem in the locker room. I'll show you that here in a minute. Andres Samoas went to Burnley. He was lost in the shuffle. 30 years old. He had declined in ability. He asked me for a release. I put him out there. Burnley snapped him up for $6 million. Then, right at the very end of the transfer window, or at least near the very end of the transfer window, Paris Saint-Germain came in for Munir. Now, a couple weeks prior, Porto had made an offer for him. And when their offer came up, he said, I'm not interested in this offer. So I felt comfortable saying no deal and rejecting it. Then Benfica came in and made a similar offer, and he said, I'm not really interested in that offer either. And so I canceled it. Paris Saint-Germain came along, and he was like, I totally want to go to Paris Saint-Germain. Let me go to Paris Saint-Germain. So I let him go to Paris Saint-Germain. 23 million pounds, 23.5 million pounds up front, going to 30.5 million pounds. That's all appearance and goal bonus based. I ended up seeing about 4 million of that deal because he had a 30% sell-on fee. He got about 7 million pounds of that deal, which I knew that going in. I got him on a free. He left for 23.5 million pounds after a pretty solid season with us. Plus, I think I got a capable replacement for him on the other side, which we're going to look at now. Hong Kwang-sung is not Munir's direct replacement. I needed depth in my strikers, especially because at one point in time, Connor Wickham was my only backup at striker after Shea Adams left, and he was out on loan. I brought in Admonson last year, and he went out injured with torn cruciate ligaments. So for a while there, my 3-striker formation had 3 strikers who were pure strikers. I have a couple midfielders who can kind of sort of play mid-striker, but I went out looking for a 4th striker. Hong Kwang-sung was going to be my 4th striker. This is the North Korean wonder kid who is currently playing in Italy. And I really like him. He's got really good physicals, 16 acceleration, 16 natural fitness, 15 pace. His mentals are really good. 16 anticipation. The bravery's a bit on the low side, but the decision making and determination are adequate. His off the ball is good. His work rate's good. His flair is okay. His technicals are good where they count. 14 dribbling, 14 finishing, 12 first touch, 12 technique. He's 21 years old. He's still got room to improve. He's a 5-star potential player. I think given the first team playing time he's going to get here, he'll get up to 4 stars. And he will see a lot of playing time here. Sampdoria, for whatever reason, put Carl Linetti out there, and I was looking for a pure box-to-box midfielder on my midfield line. And when probably the best young box-to-box midfielder in the game is put out there, he was transfer listed at his own request. I wasn't going to break the bank for him, but I spent a decent amount of money on him. 4-star current, 4-star potential player. Really good physicals. The 16 natural fitness, 18 stamina is great. Nice mentals. I love the 16 determination. The 17 teamwork, 17 work rate, 14 off the ball, 16 positioning is nice. The technicals, those could be a little bit better, but they're not horribly bad. They're average for this level of football. 12 dribbling, 12 first touch, 14 passing, 14 tackling, 13 marking, 13 technique. He immediately came on to the midfield line, and he's the big reason Samoa's left. 23.5 million pounds up front, going to 32 million pounds. A lot of that is appearance and international appearance based. Matuzinho, who I mentioned earlier on the loan deal, is out, comes in from LEC, youth prospect. 19 years old, 2-star current ability, 4-star potential ability, nice physicals already, decent mentals. The technicals are, well, he could be better, but defensive right back cost me 250,000 pounds. Why not take a chance on him? Jonathan Burkhart is now my 5th striker. Comes in from Mainz, 2.5-star current ability, 4-star potential ability. Okay physicals, the balance of 8's a bit on the low side for this level, I think. The mentals more than make up for it, I think. The 17 aggression, the 17 work rate is nice. The 13 determination, 12 flair, 13 teamwork. And the technicals aren't bad either. 14 finishing, 12 first touch, 12 penalty taking, 12 technique. When a 5 long throw is your worst technical skill as a striker, you don't have anything to worry about. Plus, he's 20 years old. He is going to get first team playing time and maybe a couple starts. Well, he'll be starting a lot of the cup games. Mirko Bosancic. I'm probably pronouncing that wrong. Mirko is a player my scout found in Croatia. He is this good at 19 already. And if he gets some quality first team playing time the next couple years and then comes into the squad, he'll probably take over for Vakari and or Santos, depending on how those two are doing. 19 years old already. I'm not quite sure about this hair and facial combination, but, what the heck. Really good physicals already. The natural fitness of 4 is a bit of a bummer, but I think I can work on that. The mentals are already nice for this age. I love the 16 positioning. The technicals, a 16 marking and a 16 tackling already. If I don't have to work on his defensive skills, it will let me spend more time on his technical skills and mental skills that need improvement. That's great. One of the ways I got him was because I knew he wasn't going to get first team playing time here, but I really wanted him. So I paid Rijeka £6 million, going up to £8.75 million based on international appearances, and I loaned him back to him next year. So he gets another season at a pretty decent club in the Liga. They finished third last year, and they actually won it 4 years ago. And next year, I get a 20-year-old player who can step into the starting lineup. Last but not least, after Munir left, I needed a quality striker. And I have had my eye on William Goebbels for a long time. Since the save began, he was one of the first youth hot prospect strikers my scouts in Europe found. He's currently at Monaco, 18 years old, 3-star current ability, 5-star potential ability. He's got the potential to be top 10 striker in the world, I think. Really good physicals already. The 16 pace is really nice. When your lowest physical score is a 13 and that's your strength and you're 18 years old, that's very, very good. The positioning of 7 is about the only thing that lets him down mentally. The 9 aggression, that's average, so I can live with that, but a lot of these are going to go up as he gets playing time and mentoring and training. The technicals are also really good already. He's a 3-star player at 18 years old in the Premier League. He's got potential, and he's going to reach it because he went right into the lineup. He took Munir's spot as he advanced forward. 13 dribbling, finishing in first touch, 11 passing, 14 technique. He's been on a tear in the Under-21 Championship qualifying rounds, 5 goals in 5 games. He's got 3 appearances, a goal, and an assist in the Olympic Games already. If I can keep him for a long, long time, I think as a club, we will be doing well. You've been busy when you got to scroll down on one of the tables. All told, we spent $72 million and we sold $82 million. So we're a little ahead in the transfer window. Now, the one issue I did have was squad registration. Let me see if it'll pull it up here. So as you can see, 17 foreign players, 16 homegrown players, minimum squad size of 11 players, but your under-23s don't count for that. So players like Jake Vokins, even though he's homegrown, I don't have to register him because he's part of that under-23s. The problem comes in with players like Sandro Tonali, who I got my first year here from Brescia in Italy. He's been here long enough that he qualifies as a homegrown player, but he's still a foreign player. He's also a U23 player. I hedged my bets on this. I'll be honest, I cheated a little bit. I did this, I have a save where he's not registered, and it turned out that I didn't have to register him. However, what I find odd is, if I was to unregister him right now, not only would my minimum of 8 players trained in England go down to 15, my maximum foreign players would go down to 16. So somehow, he's counting as both. I don't know that that's a bug or if that's a feature, but it definitely, I don't know, it's definitely troublesome. I'm going to post that on the forums and see what SI says here eventually. Another thing I failed to catch when the new rules went into effect, you have to sign players to a minimum salary. So like all the youth players I'm bringing in, they have to be signed to a minimum weekly salary of £3,000 a week. Players on the under-23 teams have to be signed to a salary, I want to say is £8,000 a week. One of the ththings that caught me, and it doesn't look like it here, but I may have to go to another screen. I brought back Vanya Milinkovic-Savic on loan because I don't have any good keepers behind Onana other than Hennessy, and he's still recovering from the ACL damage he took last season, and frankly, he's down to a current two-star potential player. You will see, as a foreign player, I have him registered. If I go to the squad, and I turn on the U23s, you will see he does not have a work permit. And I'm not sure why that is. You can see his contract at Torino has him on £8,000 per week. So he can get games as my under-23 keeper, but he can't play for the first team because he doesn't have a work permit. So I'm hoping that later on in the year, like the January transfer window, I can apply for a work permit again. That's why I have him registered now. Hopefully he can play in some of the cup games. As it stands, Hennessy is my primary backup keeper after Onana, and he's down two-star current, two-star potential ability. That's really kind of a bummer. So we're just going to have a brief recap of the preseason games and the one game I played thus far. I toyed with the idea of doing a live comm at the end of this episode, but frankly, it's already about 22, 23 minutes long, and doing a live comm would make it a half hour, and I'm not really into that. So what we're going to do is you will see here are the friendlies. We had a pretty good friendly season. Bromley gave us a game. Athletic Bilbao gave us a game. This was our one big test, and we did really well. This was the first team. Kamara had a 20th minute goal. Vicari had a 31st minute goal. Inigo Martinez had a 49th minute goal for Bilbao. Stats-wise, we just absolutely dominated them. 30 shots, 10 on target. They're 5-2. I'm still playing that 4-3-3 I was using at the end of last season, and it's working really, really well for us, at least in terms of shots and on target. We're still having a problem getting the ball across the goal line against opponents who are at least as good as we are. We did play Watford the first game of the season. A Jetty, a 22nd minute goal. Redmond equalized for Watford in the 32nd minute, and then Hung Kwang Sung put the winner away in the 63rd minute. We had 19 shots, 9 on target to Watford's 13-5. Slight possession advantage for us. This was a pretty solid game. My front three was absolutely on form, and the rest of the team was solid. You will see with Benasser leaving, Sablik is now the starting right back. And Vokins is getting starts on the left because Riedewald got hurt in preseason, but he'll be back here in a couple of weeks. Maybe 10 days. So, as it stands, I'm going to call this episode pretty much done. What we're going to do is come back for the League Cup second round game and then Man United. We'll do a double live comm the next episode. And then after that, it's just going to be recaps and a single live comm. If you liked what you've seen and heard, if you liked my transfer window, please let me know. Questions, criticisms, comments, leave them down below. I'll answer them as fast as I can. My name is FM Jellicoe. I thank you for watching.